There comes a moment in every life when you stand at the edge. Not the edge of failure, not the edge of despair, but the edge of decision. It's the moment when your past screams for your loyalty, but your future whispers for your courage. And in that moment, you will either choose to retreat to the comfort of what's known, or you will do what the greats have always done. Strike the match, burn the bridge, and swear upon the ashes that you will never go back. Because forward is the only way now. Forward is where vision lives. Forward is where destiny breathes. History does not remember the cautious. It remembers the ones who leapt with fire in their eyes and a vow carved into their soul. I will not die with my potential still inside me. That was Cortez, landing on foreign soil and commanding his men to set their ships ablaze. Not out of madness, but meaning. He knew what we forget. When retreat is impossible, victory becomes non-negotiable. Too many carry a plan B, like a disease. A backdoor, a safety net, a just in case. But greatness? Greatness is allergic to excuses. It demands obsession. It demands that you either do it or you don't. And the only way to ensure you do is to eliminate every other option. So let the bridge burn. Let the comfort die. Let the soft voice inside you that says maybe tomorrow get drowned out by the roar of a decision made in blood and fire. This is the day I go all in. Because until you do, you're not building a future. You're babysitting your past. And your past does not deserve that much power. It begins in the mind. Long before a single action is taken, long before the world sees your rise, you must first win the war within. Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right." It sounds simple, but it's not. Because the hardest part of belief isn't in convincing others. It's convincing yourself in the silence, in the dark, when no one's watching. You must become your own revolution. You must plant the flag of belief so deeply in your mind that even your doubts bleed surrender. But belief is not born from comfort. It is forged in friction, in failure, in the furnace of every no you've ever heard. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before he gave the world light. Imagine that. 10,000 nights of failure. But he saw them as steps, not setbacks. Refinements, not rejections. Because he believed not in perfection, but in progress. You must believe in the unseen. Hold the vision in your mind like sacred fire until the world has no choice but to adjust to your reality. But here's the secret. Clarity amplifies belief. A man with a fuzzy goal is like a blind archer in a hurricane. He pulls, he aims, he fires, but he never hits. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for with surgical precision. Write it down. Carve it in stone. What do you want exactly? Not success, not money, not happiness. Be specific. A castle in your mind can't be built from fog. It needs bricks, blueprints, bold declarations that this is who you are. This is where you're going, and nothing will make you turn back. Burn the vague, build the vision, because clarity makes commitment easier. When you know exactly what you're chasing, you stop entertaining everything else. You stop negotiating with distractions. You stop asking the wrong people for permission. Walt Disney walked into a swamp and saw a kingdom. Not because it was there, but because he put it there first in his mind, where no one else could see. They called him crazy. He called it destiny. So, what do you see when you close your eyes? Because that's where the real world begins. Not outside you, inside you. And yet, vision without discipline is just a hallucination. The dreamers drown when they forget how to grind. Discipline is the love language of those who refuse to die average. It's what separates the almost from the absolutely. You don't need more motivation. You need a calendar. You need rituals. You need a system that says, "This is who I am. every single day, especially when I don't feel like it. Motivation whispers. Discipline shouts. It shouts in the 5 a.m. wake-up call. It shouts in the no you say to junk food, to excuses, to drama. It shouts in the silence when everyone else is asleep and you're still building. Andrew Carnegie didn't wait for permission. He made steel bend to his will, because he knew that time respects no one, only those who use it like a weapon. You are not tired. You are undisciplined. You are not unworthy. You are untrained. So train. Turn your pain into practice. Turn your doubt into data. And turn your habits into armor. Because discipline doesn't restrict your freedom. It creates it. A wild mind builds nothing. A focused mind builds empires. So while others beg for the weekend, you build a life you don't need a vacation from. And when the world calls it obsession, you'll call it alignment. But even discipline, even iron willpower, is nothing if your why is hollow. You need purpose like lungs need air. Not a reason that sounds good, a reason that burns. A reason that drags you out of bed like it's life or death. Because when your purpose is clear, pain becomes fuel. Rejection becomes redirection. And failure becomes sacred. The greats knew this. Lincoln, born in a one-room log cabin, losing election after election, yet he carved his name into the spine of history because he knew his purpose was not just to lead, but to free. And freedom, true freedom, always comes at a cost. So ask yourself, what is the cost of not doing this? What will die inside you if you don't answer the call? What brilliance will the world never see because you chose comfort over conviction? Purpose is what keeps the flame alive when the storm hits. And the storm will hit. But storms don't break people. They reveal them. And when you have purpose, you'll walk through fire and thank it for the lesson. You'll stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. You'll stop playing roles for other people and finally play the lead role in your own damn life. But purpose alone is not enough. You must act. You must move relentlessly because the universe responds to motion, not intentions, not potential, motion. Edison didn't just think about the light bulb. He built it. He tested it. He failed and built again. He failed better until the world changed. You don't need a perfect plan. You need momentum. Start with one thing, one act of courage, one decision that says, I'm done waiting, I'm done watching, I'm done wishing, because action is identity. What you do is who you become. Write when you're not a writer. Lead when you're not a leader. Build when you feel broken. The mind catches up to the body in motion. The soul awakens when it sees you mean it. And yes, you will fail, but fail forward. Fail like Tesla, who gave his entire mind to a world that ridiculed him while stealing from him. He didn't care. He wasn't building fame. He was building the future. So move, fail, learn, adjust, but don't you dare stop. And as you act, do not forget the invisible fuel behind every unstoppable human. Gratitude. Yes, gratitude. Not as a hashtag. Not as a soft word whispered over tea, but as a warrior's code. Because when you train your eyes to see abundance, you make fear irrelevant. You make competition unnecessary. You realize that you are already enough. And from that truth, you create more. Gratitude doesn't mean settling. It means building from power, not from panic. It means you're thankful for what you have, but hungry for what you know is possible. You can be grateful and still grind. You can be content and still be a contender. Because when your heart beats with both humility and hunger, you stop chasing the spotlight and become the light. And in that light, something extraordinary happens. You adapt. You evolve. Because the vision will test you. It will twist. It will require new versions of you that haven't yet been born. The dream you started with might not survive, but you will, because you were never married to the method. You were married to the mission, and that mission will demand that you let go of ego, shed your skin, and pivot again and again and again. Like Darwin said, it's not the strongest that survive. It's the most adaptable. So adapt. Learn from everything. Let every loss become a lesson. Let every detour become design. You're not starting over. You're starting deeper. And the deeper you go, the more unstoppable you become. There will be nights when it feels like no one understands. When the world is asleep and your demons are wide awake. And in that moment, you'll be tempted to pause, to shrink, to quit. But don't you dare. Remember this. You are not doing this for applause. You are doing this for alignment. You are not here to be liked. You are here to lead. Lead your life. Lead your legacy. And lead it like your soul was built for fire, because it was. The fire is not your enemy. The fire is your proof. Your proof that you've stepped into a life where mediocrity no longer fits, where average feels like poison, and where your old self watches in awe. As you rise again and again, becoming someone you were always meant to be, but never had the courage to meet until now. So burn the bridge, build the vision, and become the force they never saw coming. You were not made for small days. You were not made to tiptoe through life, hoping to arrive safely at death. You were made to expand, to stretch the limits of what's possible, to build something that echoes beyond your breath. And that doesn't start someday. It starts the moment you decide that the pain of staying the same is finally greater than the fear of becoming more. So become. Don't wait for the world to crown you. Crown yourself. Name yourself. Choose yourself. Because no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to hand you your dream. You must take it. Build it. Bleed for it. Protect it like sacred flame. And when they ask you how you did it, you'll look them in the eye and say, I didn't give myself another option. They'll call it obsession. They'll call it madness. Let them. They don't know what it's like to stare into the mirror and see more than what's visible. They don't know what it's like to feel a fire inside your bones that won't let you sleep, that won't let you quit. But deep down, you do. You know, because you've carried a vision no one else could validate. You've dreamed while others distracted. You've stood when every voice told you to sit down, shut up, settle. But you refused. Not because it was easy, but because something unbreakable lived inside you. A force that outlasts doubt, that overpowers fear. That doesn't wait for permission or applause, because it already knows. You were born to break the mold. Look at the titans who came before you. Look at Jobs, a college dropout who dared to think a rectangle of glass could change the world. He didn't just build products. He built belief. He stared at the status quo and said, "Number, that's not enough." And neither should you. The life you want will never bow to convenience. It only answers to conviction. So stop asking, will this be hard? Start asking, is this worth it? Because when the goal is worth it, you'll carry the weight. You'll endure the storm. You'll become anti-fragile, stronger, not in spite of the pressure, but because of it. This is what it means to become unstoppable. It's not about never falling. It's about building such a relationship with failure that you laugh when you fall, because you know what you're made of. You know your worst day still holds value. You know the setbacks are setups for sharpening your edge. And you know that every scar is just another reminder. You didn't fold. You didn't run. You rose. So rise again and again until rising is no longer an act, but your nature. Because resilience is not gifted. It's forged. It's what happens when you run out of reasons to keep going and go anyway. It's when you have every right to give up, but choose to show up with trembling hands, with a heavy heart, but with unshakable soul. Look at Mandela, 27 years in a prison cell, robbed of time, dignity, light. But he walked out not bitter, not broken, but brighter. Because prison didn't define him. Purpose did. What's your excuse? What's the story you keep telling yourself? To stay small, to stay safe, to stay still? Burn it. Burn that story like you burned the bridge. Because it's not who you are anymore. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are not the labels they gave you. You are the architect of something eternal. And your legacy is being written right now. Not someday. Not when it's perfect. Not when you feel ready. Now. Because readiness is a myth. No one feels ready at the start of a revolution. They decide that fear will no longer be the compass. They decide that doubt is not a signal to stop, but a sign that something sacred is near. So chase the fear. Follow the resistance. Run toward the dragon, because behind it lies the treasure. Your treasure. Your transformation. The version of you that doesn't flinch when the world says no. The version of you that doesn't hesitate to speak truth, to take space, to demand a life that matches your fire. And no, it won't be fair. No, it won't be easy. But it will be worth it. Every tear, every lonely morning, every voice that tried to tear you down, it will all make sense when you stand on the mountain that you built with your own hands. You'll look back one day and see, not a straight path, but a blazing trail, a trail forged by choice, by sacrifice, by relentless faith in a future only you could see. And that future, it's waiting. It's waiting for you to stop asking for directions and start becoming the map, to stop seeking validation and start validating yourself, to stop playing the understudy and walk on stage like you own the play, because you do. This is your script now. You are the writer. You are the director. You are the storm that doesn't knock. You enter. You disrupt. You deliver. You become the standard. Become the example. Become the story they tell when the next dreamer wonders, is it possible? And the answer, the only answer, will echo through the chambers of time like thunder. Yes, because you didn't ask. You didn't wish. You decided. You built. You burned the bridge. And you never looked back. There is a moment, and it will come for you, when the silence will be deafening. No cheers. No applause. No one watching. Just you. And the path. And the mirror. And in that moment you will ask, was it worth it? Did it matter? Am I still who I said I'd become? And the answer will not come from trophies or titles, not from likes or followers, not from the hollow noise of a world chasing shortcuts. The answer will come from the fire inside you that never went out. It will come from the scars you chose to wear with pride, from the sleepless nights that became stepping stones, from the people who told you no and unknowingly built the steel in your spine. It will come from knowing, with bone-deep certainty, that you never folded, never faked it, never forgot who you were meant to be. You didn't just survive. You led, not because it was convenient, but because it was calling. And you answered, not with words, but with work, not with noise, but with movement, not with hopes, but with hell-bent conviction. That's what this world remembers. Not the ones who followed trends, but the ones who started fires, who saw cracks in the system and decided to build a new one, who saw limits and turned them into launch pads, who refused to live on repeat and instead pressed record on a new frequency. So ask yourself, one final time, What are you waiting for? Permission? You already have it. Support? You've got the only hand you need, your own. Clarity? Start walking. The road gets clearer with every step. Certainty? There's no such thing. But faith is louder. You want to build something immortal? Then give up your addiction to safe. Give up the lie that says you have time. Give up the illusion that someone else is coming to push you. They're not. It's you. It's always been you. You are the push. You are the fire. You are the vision that refuses to die quietly. So let the others hesitate. Let them wait for a sign. Let them bow to comfort. You? You were made for war, for greatness, for grit, for something so unshakable that when the storm comes, it finds you standing still, unbothered, unbreakable, unstoppable. This is your legacy. Not something you leave behind, but something you live. Every day, every step, every breath. So burn the bridge. Burn the past. Burn the fear. Burn the voices that told you to shrink, to hide, to wait. Build the vision. With blood, with sweat, with silence, with grace and with fury. With your hands, your voice, your life. And become. Become the one they said you couldn't be. Become the one your younger self prayed to grow into. Become the one who didn't need saving, because you chose to save yourself. There is no going back now. The fire is lit. The path is yours. And the world hasn't seen anything yet. Let them watch. Let them doubt. Let them whisper. You just keep building. Keep rising. Keep walking. Like every step is thunder. Like every breath is prophecy. Like every heartbeat is another nail in the coffin of your limits. You were not born to blend in. You were born to build, to burn, to become unstoppable. Now go. Make it real.